Dr. Singhvi, the other thing is, would you see this now opening up a complete Pandora's box? Because where does the buck stop? Because then you can go all the way back to the Jain Bodh temples, which many would allege our temples are built on, were built on.
Pandora's box is a mild term. It doesn't always have unpleasant connotations. It can have pleasant connotations when you open Pandora's boxes. This, what is happening, is much, much worse than any Pandora's box. It is creating a new, fresh beehive. And the sting will be unpleasant, unnecessary, totally self-created, done according to me for ulterior political gain, for social messaging, for fulfilling ulterior philosophical constructs, and above all, for defying, diluting, circumventing a parliamentary act which has stood for decades. I think it's not a Pandora's box. It is a, unnecessarily letting a genie out of a bottle or creating a Frankenstein monster for some very, very petty gains.
Dr. Singhvi, leave alone bringing the structure down, but legally, politically, and you're both. I want to ask you: do you see this go down the Babri Masjid or the Ayodhya land dispute way?
Let's not talk irresponsibly, casually, or flippantly about such serious issues. Let's not paint doomsday scenarios. I hope to God that what we are discussing is wrong. I hope to God that what I am saying and what you are predicting impliedly does not ever happen. I believe that India needs much more, deserves much better. They don't need these debates at all. They need genuine debates for progress, for development, for unemployment, for price rise, for so many other things. But if that's your agenda, so be it. Whatever God has in store for this great country, God has it in store for us.
So do you think it's a possibility now that, and this is, I'm asking you a political question there. Do you see this as a possibility, because the government has majority both in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, that they come out and actually scrap the 1991 law in question we're talking about?
Why should I speculate about that? I mean, that is a parliamentary will. That's a separate question. Nobody is saying that Parliament cannot do this or that. There is, of course, parliamentary power, but we have not even a bill introduced for that. Secondly, if and when such a bill comes, whether it will pass muster, whether it will be constitutional, whether the bill can itself be struck down as unconstitutional, etc., etc. So these are issues which are unnecessarily being created and gone into. As I said, it will be a very difficult genie and Frankenstein monster to ever put back in the bucket.
Do you see any political messaging behind it, Dr. Singhvi?
What do you mean? I said it is entirely political. I mean, do you see any messaging in the mildest form? I believe it is entirely nothing but crass, crude politics. I have no hesitation in saying so. I said so earlier also.
So my last question before I let you go. Legally speaking, what do you, of course you can't predict what the Supreme Court does, but what do you reckon, with the kind of alleged evidence that has been put together of Hindu relics found inside the Gyanvapi Mosque, what could happen in court tomorrow?
See, I am not here to second guess the Supreme Court. I am not here to speak on a sub judice matter. I am not here to start giving subjective views about something actively sub judice. I am making that very clear. As a lawyer, I simply believe that before all these vexed questions which people are putting on the table and you are articulating other people's views, before they are even looked at, before they are touched, it is but obvious that a court has to decide the very maintainability of the suit in the teeth of an act. That is the core question. It's a question of law. You can't put the cart before the horse. You cannot start deciding consequential questions first and ignore the root question. And I hope and trust that some court will decide that soon.